Hi, this is Celeste. I'm a nationally certified interventionist. I'm a recovery coach and I'm also a family coach. And I want to talk to you today about how scary going into recovery can be. And I've never talked to anybody who has told me that, oh no, going into recovery wasn't scary for me. Myself included, I was absolutely terrified to go from active addiction into recovery. And because of that scary feeling and that sense of terror and trepidation, it took me forever to get into meaningful recovery. I kept procrastinating because of that fear. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that today. And part of the reason why it's so scary is that addiction becomes a coping mechanism. And I know to those of you who have never experienced addiction, that's going to sound crazy. Like, how is addiction a coping mechanism? Like, that doesn't even make sense. But for so many of us who have experienced addiction, there's underlying trauma, underlying mental health issues. There is a lack of coping strategies, effective coping strategies. So many of the people that I talk to that come into family coaching and recovery coaching and similar programs that I've done have told me, I never learned these coping strategies growing up. My parents never taught them to me. I never learned these things in school. And so then when we start using substances like drugs or alcohol, it helps us to ease some of the feelings that go along with mental health disorders, trauma, and even coming into adult life and having to adult without those coping strategies. It can be very stressful. Coping with even paying the bills or being married, having kids, the job, the overwhelmingness of it all. So add all those things together and it's no wonder that a lot of times people will turn to addiction because in the beginning, it seems like a great way to unwind and escape some of the feelings that go along with some of those things. So it absolutely is a way of coping. But unfortunately, for so many of us that experience addiction, those coping mechanisms turn on us, and they turn on us viciously in the way of consequences like losing a job, getting arrested, getting divorced, losing our house, health concerns, mental health disorders getting worse. So all of these consequences start to add up and make things worse. And then all of a sudden, our coping strategies aren't working anymore. And we're left feeling abandoned by our own coping strategies. So, and no wonder it's so scary to get into recovery because the only coping mechanism that we've known that worked for us at all for any length of time is now we're being asked to give that up. And that's a very, very scary place to be. Add on top of that the fear of physical and psychological withdrawal. And withdrawal is nasty. Withdrawal is ugly. Like, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I wouldn't wish that hell on anybody. So, it's a very, very scary place to be. So it's super important when you're in active addiction and looking at getting into recovery to have a plan in place to start dealing with how are you going to go through the physical and psychological withdrawal. So getting a recovery team in place, a doctor, treatment center, recovery coach, and then to start to learn some of the coping strategies to replace the coping strategies that we never learned growing up. And that's not a blame game thing. It's not blaming our parents or our teachers or whoever the heck should have taught us this stuff. It's not about blame. It's just about taking away the coping mechanism that we have that's no longer working for us and replacing it with healthy coping mechanisms. So that's an important part of the recovery coaching program that I do. So if you're interested in starting to develop some of those coping strategies to really set yourself up for amazing success in recovery, I'm going to include the information in the caption so you can go to the link. You can fill out an application and then we'll get on Zoom and we'll talk. We'll set up an individualized coaching program for you because I understand that everybody's going to be different as far as their drug of choice, their background with trauma, family of origin, mental health concerns. So it's not going to be a one size fits all cookie cutter program. We're going to definitely individualize it and cater it to you. So we're going to want to get on the same page and start individualizing that for you. And then we'll get into your program. I'll walk you through it because I know that this is a very scary thing to do. It's a very scary place to be. So I want you to understand that you're not alone in this process. I'm going to be there to support you every step of the way. So the first thing I need you to do is fill out that application, and I'll be very supportive. I'll be very encouraging because I know that it is scary. If you have any concerns about filling out that application, if it feels just too scary for you right now, please feel free to send me a direct message, and I can talk you through it. I can talk you through that fear because I know it's a very scary place to be, and I am here to support you. So there's more details in the caption. Reach out if you need me. I'm here to support you. Have a good night, everybody.